What's up, guys? My name is Christian. Pleased to meet you. In this video, I'll be answering a question I don't think was meant for a Q&A, but it works well anyway. The question is, am I schizophrenic? So before I start this video off, I've been trying for a while to get this channel started. I was actually quite deep in psychosis when I created the channel a little over 6 months ago. And the combination of dealing with this mental health stuff and just a lack of experience in making and organizing coherent things for other people to view, it's going to be quite a learning experience and process in making engaging and constructive videos with the right content aligned to the right titles and all that. So psychosis. What the heck is that? Does that mean I'm some kind of psychopath killer or something? Nah. I'm generally a very amiable, kind, and generous person. I love people the best I can. I love you, and whatnot. These terms, psycho and whatever, have been greatly dramatized by TV and books and whatever else. The real words don't mean what the TV means. Yes, there have been people with schizophrenia or like disorders who are violent, but so have there been who are without these features. In psychiatry, when someone is psychotic, it means they are in this disconnected state. It does not have to mean they have to be malicious, murderous, and have evil intent or feelings. Often dark feelings do come up, but it's not just the same as you'd think on TV. TV is meant to be captivating and alluring and shocking. So if you want to find out the reality of what it is to be psychotic, then just listen to my story, friend. So psychosis is a noun, and psychotic is an adjective. I can experience in psychosis, or in other words, can be in a psychotic state. The word psyche relates to the mind and soul, and osis is a condition of. So there's something about the mind's condition that's getting discombobulated. Psychosis then is defined as a disconnection from reality, and I want to dive into that philosophically later on, but this extremely ramped up, constant changing, transitioning between so many unique ideas and feelings. This state is often experienced by people with schizophrenia, bipolar, schizoaffective, PTSD can trigger psychosis, and it can be induced by drugs. And there's probably other circumstances that I'm not, able to list currently. But actually, some cultures believe there is something important and spiritually significant about this experience, and their society's approach is much different regarding this phenomenon. If you've heard of shamans and that sort of thing, that's kind of where that falls. So before I get into the question, am I schizophrenic? Let me just ask you, is he? Just kidding. Before I answer the question, I want to advertise the whole vision of the channel. Over time, more and more things will come out and progress and build upon each other, and I'm so excited, but also I'm so anxious to do this that things keep getting mixed up, and I'm working hard on being patient so this channel and series will become what it needs to become. So this channel's main goal right now is to A, share my life story. My life has been pretty insane, and some people may find it interesting or refreshing to hear a totally honest and vulnerable story. And I spend a lot of time reflecting and working through it myself, and so I have somewhat of a unique ability for personal insight that could be helpful for others to get in on. Everybody, get more comfortable admitting where you've been. If you can't confide in anyone, confide in yourself until you can find another living person. The places you've been are not you, but knowing where you've been is crucial to understanding or developing understanding of yourself. I'll gradually transition into how my unpleasant life experiences may have contributed to my mental decline and loose grasp of reality. And also I hope and all that anyone watching will find some kind of emotional resonance, intellectual stimulation, food for thought. Hopefully, if you feel alone with some struggles, I may be at least one person you can relate to. I'd love to journey together and grow together and work through things to the best that I can, giving advice from my experience and places I've been, the skills I've picked up, and things like that along the way. I'll do my best to credit where those ideas came from, but of course the sources get lost sometimes. So if it seems like I'm trying to pretend I'm smart and I have all this stuff, a lot of times it's from somewhere else too. But once we have that down, B, my goal is to explain the mindset of psychosis. Essentially, I'll just be exposing what it is like to be in that place, laughing at odd things that happen, and transitioning to how I've dealt with it afterwards. If you were to go to the moon it might be hard to remember what Earth was like, but I'm on Earth most of the time, and I'm remembering my visits to the moon. So part B is pretty simple and for anyone to hear, just recapturing what has already happened. And further C, I want to dive into how this psychosis mindset, or maybe people who have features like schizophrenia, how we can actually use this some of this to our advantage and grow from it. A lot of these types of people are very artistic or intelligent, but it goes out of our own control sometimes. I had an idea once that I could sort of access this mind without being consumed by it. More on that later. And finally, D. For those who have no idea what any of this is about, once you are through with my videos, my goal is for the totally mundane person to possibly break some of their safe conditions of reality. Your current understanding, I'm hoping to kind of shake up and get you to question things more, but this must be introduced slowly, and some of the skills I'll share with you, how to work through it from my time on the moon, will help you access the great benefits of this contemplation without falling into the same oblivion where you get lost a little bit too much. I, of course, am very limited by only having my experiences to stem from. I'm hoping it's comparable to other people with schizophrenia and different things, but I don't know how much it does apply to them. So we'll see. But most people are embarrassed to come out of the crazy closet or this or that and have difficulty translating their internal experience, whatever's going on in here, to the external experience so that other people get what they're trying to say. So at the very least, I hope some will find inspiration that they can, in fact, use or tweak things I've come up with over time, become confident in owning your mind, and hopefully get people to understand what you mean and find those kind of people. If you see The Beautiful Mind, it describes this mathematical genius and schizophrenic who altered 100 years of economics with his unique perspective, and he was able to figure out how to differentiate from his hallucinations. So it is possible. There's no way I'm done working through things with this or a lot of things in life, and so I'll be talking about it all, but this is the way life is for me, other psychosis experiencers, and everyone else. I've made progress, sure, which I plan on sharing with you, and I feel inspired to improve myself and figure out my own mind, with the goal of then being able to help others do the same. Let's be united, y'all. So finally, what you came here for. Am I schizophrenic? I first had a psychotic episode at the age of 14. Pretty rare to have at that age. A lot of family stress was going on at the time. My brothers were both experiencing episodes of mania all through my growing up, and so some of their wonky ideas and intense feelings maybe started creeping into my psyche, my mind and soul and feelings and that kind of thing. Without going too in depth, I experienced a prolonged period of psychosis over the course of about 6 months. At the end of 8th grade, I kind of dropped off the face of the planet and reappeared in a new city, fresh out of the mental hospital, starting high school, knowing no idea who I am, a new stepmom who was alien to me. I was able to do the most basic things just fine, but I was gone. My past life was gone. All my friends were strangers. I hardly made any friends at the start of middle school, and to all of you, I love you so much and appreciate the good you've seen in me that I wasn't able to at the time, to see in myself at the time. I'm sorry we weren't able to reconnect for a while, but please reach out to me as I need to get in touch with my roots again. I didn't have much of a way of getting hold of you, on top of the fact that I didn't know what the world was anymore. For the sake of maybe breaking stereotypes that schizophrenics are nonsensical, and that's partly also why I'm making this video, just so people can see that's possible, and making these videos is helping me organize myself. Like, this video was scripted, obviously, you might be able to tell. But just want to throw in, I did graduate high school with a 3.7, well, not ragging, but 3.71 GPA, and was accepted for the opportunity to attend Portland Community College during my sophomore year of high school, where I would gain an associate's degree by graduation. I turned this down, which was probably kind of dumb, but it wasn't the direction for me at the time. I moved, and in my junior year, I was able to take AP classes and college credit, and that sort of thing, landing me with technically half an associate's degree, but those classes were honestly boof. I don't even count it as college. Some classes were cool, but mostly a joke as far as replicating a challenging or mature academic setting. I feel like it would have been pretty cool to actually have been at college, but hey, we move on. Anyway, about August of 2019, I had another psychosis experience for again around 6 months, so this was pretty recent. This seems to be about the time frame my mind likes to be in this state of mind. But it was weird for me because this time I was like almost in control. I almost, I don't know, I had the same compelling feelings as the first time, but I allowed just the slightest room for other options to be there. I was just slightly more grounded. The first time I was just gone. Rocket launch past the moon. Boom. Bye. But the more recent time, it was like I was launching off, watching Earth as I went farther away in my spaceship. Maybe landed on the moon or Mars or so, and eventually I was able to take this spaceship back to Earth, after getting off the stop and exploring for a while. So eventually, I did get lost in the psychosis, but transitioning in and out of it, I kind of was able to figure things out, or know. Anyway, most people travel in cars with signs and stoplights and rules, but people like me once in a while just take a rocket ship into space. So this is about an answer to am I schizophrenic? My mom has told me that one doctor, when I was 14, said I was schizophrenic. I should get disability as soon as possible, yada yada yada. But around that time, my mom and I went into a different psychiatrist who believed it was a manic episode. More in line with bipolar, and the most recently I was diagnosed schizoaffective, which is kind of both schizophrenia and bipolar. Ultimately, I'm fine with getting a label. I want to dive into some harms I see with our current system that actually accelerate some of these psychotic features, but why I currently don't align with a particular diagnosis is because each of these visits was with maybe one doctor for a week here, and during that week, mind you, it's like they're meeting with someone every 30 minutes, and so how in-depth are they really going to be able to observe you? But a doctor for a week here, doctors switching out shifts, meeting a minute here and there, lots of different places, and I never just consistently met with a professional to hash out what we want to call it. So finally, I could be schizophrenic or bipolar or whatever, and I'll let you know if I find out what that actually is, but I personally think my disconnections of reality have had more common things of grandiosity, which is when you think you're something awesome, which I think is a survival instinct to cope with, well, not so grand of an actuality. I'm not actually God, but that convincing feeling in a way provides relief. So, some were concerned I was diagnosing myself, or why was I advertising or claiming to be schizophrenic? Well, I figured it would be much more recognized than other types and more associated with psychosis, which is the more broad topic I hope to focus on this channel, and I hope to stir in some insights into the phenomenon. But it is much more responsible to differentiate and explain our current standing with mental health in the United States from my personal speculation. So thank you for bringing that to my attention. I tried to find my most recent hospital paper with the diagnosis just to show for evidence, but to my frustration I couldn't find it. If anyone is really invested in seeing this, I'm happy to go requesting medical records, which I might do at some point anyway, without someone asking, especially if it becomes relevant to the topic of certain videos. So, that's all I have for now. Thank you for watching. I'll be answering more questions as they come and planning out my storylines and all that good stuff. Please share this with those who you think will benefit or find it interesting. I'm happy to answer any question, any. Whether you know me personally or not, if you want to ask about what was going on at a particular time when you were around me in this off-putting state, any tough philosophical questions, or basic things about me or the experience itself. That's all I have for this video. There's more videos in queue for me to make in response to questions I was asked in the last video. And again, if people ask me other questions, I will follow up. But for now, have a good day. Stay connected with each other, as that is what is most grand about life.